If Hamas thinks they can get away with this, they're wrong. We will hunt down every commander, every post until we win. These are words from a member of the Knesset, the governing body in Israel, last name Bennett. He went on Arab news channel Al Jazeera to defend Israel. Israel has a right to defend itself. A fiery clip here. Amazing stuff from this member of the Knesset. Check out this wonderful interview because Israel is standing up for itself. It's so important to do that, and it's so important to support and pray for the Holy Land right now. Watch.
Now, joining us from West Jerusalem, Naftali Bennett, who served as Israel's defense minister in 2019 and 2020, is the chairman of Yamina, an Israeli political alliance. Mr. Bennett, thank you for your time today. We do appreciate it. You will have heard me speaking to the reporter there in Gaza, and perhaps you heard before me speaking to a lady living there telling us about the night she had. None of them expect this to get any better any soon. Do you agree?
It's up to Hamas. As long as Hamas keeps it a deliberate attack in order to murder Israelis across the state. By the way, Arabs and Jews alike. Hamas already murdered 2 Arab Israelis in Lod, the city of Lod. Dad, 52 years old, and his daughter Nadine, 16 years old, Israeli Arabs who were murdered. Right. A Holocaust survivor, 85 years old, was murdered by Hamas in her wheelchair. If Hamas thinks that they can get away with this, they're wrong. We'll hunt down every commander, every post until we win.
And the 53 people who've died in Gaza, including 14 children, are they all members of Hamas who needed to die?
Indeed, Hamas killed them. Because when
no,
you
they
hide
didn't.
your
Israeli
rockets
airstrikes killed
behind, yes, they did.
No, come on. They were Israeli airstrikes. People
behind women and children, you are effectively murdering your own people. Make no mistake. I spent the night in the shelter with my family in the city of Ra'anana. We will defend ourselves. And if Hamas decides to turn schools into terror bases and hospitals in a cowardly manner into terror bases, they are responsible for murdering their own people.
Well, you have a shelter to go to. The 2 million people in Gaza don't. They're locked in as well. So you can't simply say that Hamas effectively killed them because it was an Israeli airstrike which killed them. If you're hitting residential buildings, if you're hitting police buildings, media buildings, that's why they're dying.
That's nonsense. Hamas, instead of taking its money and investing in hospitals, in schools, in building a future for its people, it's spending all its money on terror, on trying to kill Israelis. It's both stupid and wrong. It's stupid because they're not going to succeed, because we're strong and we're going to defend ourselves.
Okay.
And you know, I'm in the opposition now, but make no mistake, we are all united. We stand strong, united. And there's one way for this to stop, for Hamas to lay down its arms, and then it'll stop.
OK, let's talk politics then, Mr. Bennett, because you are in a position to actually tell us about the political situation that exists in Israel and how it is contributing to what's going on at the moment. The fact is Israel doesn't have well, it's still in political limbo, technically. In fact, you could end up being a future Prime Minister of Israel. Is this affecting what is happening now, the fact that Prime Minister Netanyahu doesn't know his future, that he has corruption charges against him? Is this contributing to the whole problem?
This is not about Netanyahu, and it's not about left and right in Israel, and I will certainly back Netanyahu and Minister Gantz and the government of Israel at this very difficult moment. When we get hundreds of rockets a night on Israel, we all stand united. No one will divide us, and we'll fight back.
The performance, then, of Prime Minister Netanyahu, you say you back him there, but, I mean, surely there is still a political process ongoing in Israel at the moment to try to form a new government, as I said, one which you would be part of.
Well, we're a democracy. I'm darn proud of that we're a democracy. And yes, part of democracy is the ability to criticize one another. But we in Israel have a sort of a unspoken rule. When we're at war with an enemy who wants to annihilate us, we stand together.
What would you do differently, though? And I know, given your past answer, you may not answer that. But would you do anything differently? The fact is, outside of rockets from Gaza and airstrikes from Israel, there is an ongoing problem of an occupation, of the Palestinians not having a country, of a peace process that is pretty much dead in the water. Would you be doing something different to actually address the root causes of all of this?
No, that's not the root cause of it. The root cause is a decision of the terrorists that whatever happens, they want to destroy Israel. I mean,
so if you didn't have your own country and you were locked away like that,
to Hamas. No, they're not locked away. We gave Hamas
they're literally locked
everything,
into Gaza.
Unfortunately,
Israel controls it.
And no. If they control, and if they decide that they want to start governing and stop being a failed terror state, which is a miserable future for their own people, they'll find a peaceful neighbor. But if they continue this, it's just going to get worse.
Okay,
and I'm telling every commander, every soldier of Hamas, we're after you. We're coming after you. We're not going to let off. So you might as well stop shooting at Israel.
Let me phrase it differently then. Do you accept that Israel is an occupying force in the Palestinian territories?
Absolutely not. We live in Israel. It's been our homeland for thousands of years.
So what's the occupied West Bank? What's Gaza? What are they?
Home. The West Bank, I call it Judea and Samaria. It's part and parcel of Israel. Yes, I'm cognizant to the fact that there's almost 2 million Palestinians living there, and they deserve to live in dignity, and we provide that. That is not the root cause. You know, the Arabs have tens of countries to live in. We respect our neighbors. We respect Israeli Arabs, but that is certainly not the root cause. The root cause is that they want to annihilate us. Just listen to what Bahar said. We're going to go out and kill every single Jew. So that's not anyone who's seeking peace, and I don't buy any of this rubbish.
You don't believe then that a change in the status quo, a change which would actually give the Palestinians a homeland which they govern themselves, that would actually change things, that we wouldn't have this cycle which we have been stuck in for so many years?
It would change things. It would create a terror state that does not exist yet in Judea and Samaria, and would effectively deem Israel, unable to defend ourselves. You know, the whole width of Israel is just about 7 or 8 miles. We see what they turned Gaza into. No Israeli is going to give up Judea and Samaria and allow them to create a terror state that's just a few minutes away from my home. Would you?
I don't think I can answer that, sir. Naftali Bennett, who is
exactly. You
no,
cannot
because
answer
I am not. Because I am not.
I have 4 children, and I'm going to defend them.
I am not in that situation, and I hope I never am, or my family is. Naftali Bennett, chairman of the Yamina Party Alliance. Thank you.